A week after authorities arrested an Ashley High School student who reportedly had a loaded gun in his book bag, the New Hanover County Board of Education planned to hear about school safety.
Well, tonight's school board meeting is still going on. WECT's Cassie Simmons went to the meeting to hear that discussion. Cassie, board members were supposed to hear from an assistant superintendent of operations on that safety issue.
That's right, John. Board members ended up moving the campus safety issue to the next meeting as part of a larger discussion on strategic plans. Now tonight, it's unclear what measures the school system is taking with regard to improving safety at the schools, although school officials have assured us that those conversations are taking place. The presentation board members were supposed to see tonight included discussions about site designs aimed to prevent crime, keeping entrances locked, and implementing security vestibules at campuses across the district. Some people I spoke with tonight say that's not enough to make their students feel safe.
Our schools are dangerously understaffed with support staff, with mental health staff. Really, the fact is that students cannot learn if they don't feel safe.
Also, part of tonight's agenda is a request to pass the school system's budget for the upcoming year, which includes a request for an additional $3.3 million from the county. Now, John, we'll be sure to update our story online as soon as we learn what board members decide.
All right, Cassie, thanks for the details from the school board tonight.